This week, we got some updates on PlayStation Plus, plus we got some Nintendo news and rumors, and we got some new VR stuff that I'm excited about. So let's just go ahead together as a people and take it out. And welcome to another sensational Sunday. I'm Mike, and this week I'm back to talk about the gaming news. So let's hop right into it. This first story is going to leave you in tears. And what I'm talking about, of course, are the PlayStation Plus tears, because we finally have a date of when it's supposedly going to release. If you're not familiar, PlayStation is going to have their answer to Xbox's Game Pass, which is like a subscription-based gaming service where you pay a subscription and you get access to basically a bunch of games. Now, it's not going to be feature parity completely with Game Pass because it's not going to have day one releases like PlayStation exclusives releasing on day one on this service, but it's going to be a pretty similar service, and it's going to have 3 different tiers. It's going to have the base tier, which is PlayStation Plus as it is now, a second tier where you get access to 400-ish PS4 and PS5 games, and then the highest tier where you get the PS4 and PS5 games, plus you get PS1 and PS2 games, and PS3 via streaming, and you get access to game trials, which we still don't know what that entails. So they've confirmed their rollout plan, and basically they're going to start in certain parts of Asia on May 23rd, and then Japan specifically on June 1st, and then it's going to come to North and South America on June 13th, and then Europe on June 22nd. So if you're sitting there with tears, waiting for these tears, you can dry your tears because the tears are coming. Yeah. And you know what else has brought people to tears over the years? Ooh, I didn't even mean for that to rhyme. Joy-Con drift. So let's talk a little bit about this next story. So if you're not familiar, Nintendo with the Switch has had these long reported issues with Joy-Con drift. For basically after a certain period of time, the controller will start drifting by itself or moving by itself. It's basically an issue with the analog sticks. And I've actually had 2 different sets of Joy-Cons have this issue, and I've just opted to replace them both. But in the US, they have a third-party service center they use called Rdio. I actually had to send my launch Switch Joy-Con to Rdio for repair because I had one of the launch switches that had the issue where it would disconnect wirelessly. Like if I used it away from the system, it would just keep disconnecting. So I did have to send that one in for repair. And my repair was pretty seamless. They were pretty good. But recently, there is a former employee from Rdio that kind of talked about this whole situation. And this is kind of anecdotal evidence. I mean, this is one employee, so you kind of have to take it for what it is. But according to what this employee said, because of the number of Joy-Con repairs, they were basically overwhelmed. And they had to set up a new station just specifically for Joy-Con repairs because they were getting so many. And they had to hire a bunch of temps as well to try to get this workload done. And apparently it led to a bunch of stress on the staff. Apparently there was also a language barrier, led to a bunch of turnover. Now again, this is just the account of one employee, so this is going to be their take on the situation. So we can't say, oh, definitively, like, oh, there's a big issue and it overwhelmed this small repair company. But it is kind of insightful to get some kind of inside information. You know, you can say that there are a lot of Joy-Con issues. And I'm not going to sit here and defend Joy-Con drift because, like I said, I've already gone through 2 pairs of Joy-Cons since I've had the Switch in 2017. And I really haven't had to replace controllers on any of my other systems. Like, I still have my original Xbox One controllers, and they still work just fine. So, obviously, there's an issue here. But a part of it could also be that the Switch sold so well. And obviously, when you sell a lot, you're going to have a lot more repairs. Just because, you know, there's a lot of systems out there, especially with this being handheld and directed towards kids. So a part of it could be the Joy-Con issue, and another part of it could just be that it's a really popular system. So obviously, the more you sell, the more repairs you're going to have. It's really the percentage of repairs that you have in comparison to how many systems that you sold that really matters to see if there's an issue or not. And obviously, we don't have that information. Only Nintendo has that information. Like, obviously, we know the Joy-Con drift thing was an issue. But we don't know how many of those repairs were because of the Joy-Con drift or just other things in general, and if they were just overwhelmed because of the volume. But we ain't done with Nintendo yet. We gotta talk about Breath of the Wild 2. So there's been some speculations going on based on this new Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, and that speculation is it might be too big of a game for Switch That's what the headline is, but what they're really talking about is it might be too powerful for the Switch based on the visuals that we're seeing in the trailer, which this is a possibility. I know there's a rumor, or some people think that Nintendo might release their next console with this as a launch game. That was one of the things I was mentioning in the article that I referenced for this story. And it's a good possibility, especially because we didn't get that more powerful Switch. And I thought about it, and the reason that we might not even get a more powerful Switch this generation is because there will probably be such a big power difference that it wouldn't really make any sense to just do it as a spec upgrade, because back when the Switch launched, it was already using an older Tegra chip anyway. And if they were to get one now, even if it's an older one, it'd probably still be significantly more powerful than what the Switch has right now. So are they going to do this upgrade and then they're going to limit this chip, which is probably going to be way more capable than what's in the current Switch, by making it so that you have to develop games to work on both Switches? Or are they just going to do a new system? And I think at this point it would make the most sense to do a new system, because like I said, the difference between the chip that they started with and what they can probably get now, even in the low end, is probably way better than what's in the current Switch. And you would just be bottlenecking it by telling developers they have to develop for the Switch. So I think that does make sense, so that we're probably not going to see like a pro revision or a more powerful revision. That it's just going to be a new system. And the Switch has been out since 2017, so if we're looking at 2023, that's 6 years. So it's very possible that they could release this new system next year, or they could wait another year or two. The Switch is still selling really well. But either way, it'll be interesting to see what happens when Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, because this could be better optimization on Nintendo's part, or they could have been showing this possibly on what we might consider to be the Switch 2. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. I'm excited for it either way. And in our final story, I'm also excited for VR. Mainly the Quest 2. I do have a Quest 2. I've been sleeping on my VR recently. I'm sorry. I know some of y'all like the VR videos. I haven't been keeping up with it. But the one thing I did keep up with is the ever-changing technology. So I did a video recently where I tested Oculus Air Link. I'll link it up above. And Oculus Air Link is basically using your in-home wireless network to stream PC games to the headset wirelessly, and it works really well, but of course that's going to depend on your network conditions. So the best option is to really have a dongle that you plug in to wirelessly connect your Quest 2 to the PC, and it's rumored that that's actually going to come out soon. So there were some leaked manuals online, or a leaked manual for this D-Link brand wireless dongle for the Quest 2, specifically for wireless streaming. And considering that the manual is already leaked, they're saying that this could be coming out in the next few months. Now, they have a similarly spec'd wireless adapter that's around $65. So theoretically, the price should be around probably $60 to $90 if I had to guess myself. But yeah, personally, I'm really excited for it. Like, even though I had a really good connection when I used it, I will still probably get the dongle just so I can have that guarantee. It won't be as much network interference. You know, if something happens with my router, I won't have to worry as much about it. So I'll definitely be down with getting this dongle, because wireless VR is awesome. But you know what's not awesome? That I gotta bring this video to a conclusion. But let me know what you think. Are you excited about the PlayStation Plus new tiers coming? Or do you have tiers because you think it's gonna be bad? Do you think that Nintendo's gonna release their next system next year? And are you excited for wireless VR if you have a Quest 2? Are you in the market for this wireless dongle? Let me know in the comments, and I shall be back on Wednesday with another exciting video. But until then, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell notification to get notified when I drop a video. And always do at least 2 things at the same time.